Good day, everybody. Welcome to the 11th day of the 30 Days of Learning Power Apps track. So today we'll be building a Canvas application with Power Apps, and taking us today is Oluwatobi Yusuf. Oluwatobi Yusuf is a subject matter expert at Chevron, Nigeria, and is also a UiPath RPA developer. So we trust that we'll be drinking from Toby's wealth of knowledge today. And I'm very sure that we are going to pick one or two things from his teaching today. All right, Toby, over to you.
Oh, please kindly confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you are joining us. We are glad to have you again, and I'm honored to be here. So today, let me quickly share my slides, and please confirm you can see my slide as well. Lola, can you see the slide?
Not yet. Not yet. I can see you.
Oh, sorry. Let me share again. Okay, I didn't share inside. Okay, so please confirm you're seeing the slide now.
Yes, I can see your slide.
Oh, okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're joining us. I'm Oluwatobi Yusuf, and I'll be taking you on building a Canvas application with Power Apps. So like Lola said, I work as a subject matter expert for Power Platform in the place where I work, and I'm also a local advocate. So, and my name is Oluwatobi Yusuf. Okay, so today what we intend doing is going into just, I believe, for the class of yesterday, our tutor, our teacher took us through the overview of Power Apps, that is Canvas app and everything you need to know about Power Apps. So today we're taking a deeper dive into Power Apps. We're looking into Canvas app, then we'll then move on to the practical section where we spend most of our time, then question and answer section. So yes, Canvas app, and like I said, I'll be taking Canvas app. Somebody else might come in and take model driven later on, but today I'll be focusing on Canvas app. And as you can see here, so the slide, I also try and share the slide with Jaflet, and you guys will get access to it. So for Canvas app, as you can see in the slide, it helps business users, or basically it helps users, or it helps individuals or businesses build a custom or a business application across different platforms, and you can build that with Excel and PowerPoint skills. So meaning once you can work on Excel, you don't have to start knowing Excel, the in-depth knowledge of Excel. Once you know Excel, the overview of Excel, you can start working on Canvas app. So you don't need to have any kind of special ability or coding knowledge. No, Canvas app gives you that flexibility. And one good thing about Canvas app, which I believe Kola would have spoken about yesterday, is that you can connect to different data sources, over 600 data sources you can connect to, and you can build a lot of stuff with Canvas app. So when to start Canvas app? Like I said, once you can work on Excel, and when I mean you can work on Excel, you can do a simple table, you can do a simple slide on PowerPoint, then you are good to go. Just with that simple knowledge, you can begin to work on Canvas app. And I believe Kola must have spoken about some of this yesterday. So just an overview, and just to bring back some things Kola might have said. Like I said, I'm focusing more on Canvas app. Canvas app is what you see is what you get. What that means is, as you design, that's how your app comes out. So it's not like you're doing something, then you're seeing something else. No, it's more like a drag and drop feature, which is what we're going to do today. And that's our Canvas app. Like I said, it has over 600 data sources, which I've spoken about, and you can integrate with different other features: your SQL, your SharePoint, your Power Automate, and your Power BI. Like for today, we're working with SharePoint lists, so we're working with SharePoint and our Canvas app. And it also makes use of your mobile devices. And one good thing about Power Apps also is it sits on, it can sit on web and it can sit on your mobile phone without special configuration. And when it sits on your mobile phone, you don't have to configure it to use your camera. Automatically, if you have a snap feature there, like camera feature there, it makes use of your camera and send to your location and all of the other stuff you can also read up. And this is just an overview of what Canvas app offers. Like I said, it works with your normal device tools like your camera, your GPS. You can share your document the same way you share your file, the same way you share picture and videos. You can share document, you can share your app that same way. When you build on Canvas app, you have seamless integration. You can extend it. So this means that you can work with pro developer. A application I recently built for my organization. We had our database coming from Oracle. So I work with a pro developer who developed an API that goes to Oracle to draw data, and I also interact with that data on Oracle. So you can work with your pro developer, and simply what I said, what you see is what you get. That's what Canvas app offers you. And like I said, over 600 data sources, and they are built-in features. For example, you also have database. Database is the database that comes with your Power Platform. I'm sure Columns has spoken about this yesterday. And you can also use that with Canvas app. So you're not limited to that. Then also you can use other features like your artificial intelligence builder, AI builder, without having to code. You can use all of these. And like I said, over 600 sources, and these are just some of them. And yes, as much as I've boasted about Canvas app in the past 5 minutes, Canvas app is very good. It works very great, but it works better when it's together, when you integrate it with other tools like a SharePoint, which I'm going to be doing in this section. And it can also work with Power BI, Microsoft Teams, Modern Driven, and just a lot. And yeah, it's time to move on to our practical section. Sorry about this. Yeah. So I will stop. Okay, I think I would stop sharing that, and I will share another window where we would go on to start our demo section. Okay. So please confirm you can see my screen, Lola. SharePoint. Hello, Lola.
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
And you can see my screen. SharePoint.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so how do we get started? I'm sure to get started, to go to your Power Apps, which I believe Kola must have spoken about yesterday. And if you've not watched yesterday's section, you don't need to worry. You'll say follow up, and you can always go back and watch it. Definitely to tell you at the end of the section how you can go around that. Okay, so to go to and I believe everybody here already have a Microsoft 365 developer account. And if you don't have, you can always go back and build one. Just browse on it on Google. So to navigate to your Power Apps, the simple way is just make .powerapps.com, because I've typed it before. It comes out already, and I can click on that and navigate to my Power Apps. And it takes me to my Power Apps browser. For a lot of us, like myself, that don't like keeping URL in our head, another way I do navigate. So this will just take a minute. But while this is loading, another way to navigate to your Canvas app for someone like myself, what I do every day, even though I know I can go through it directly, you can just go to office.com and straight up from office.com. Yeah, straight up. So this is office.com, and straight up from office.com, you can just click on this app launcher, and you can navigate to any app you want to navigate to. So you can also navigate to your Power Apps, your SharePoint. It takes you to whichever one you want to navigate to. You can always come through this method too. I do that a lot. In short, I do this every day. So let me go back to my former browser, my Canvas app. My app still coming up. So just a minute. In case my internet is a bit slower today. So today we'll be building an application, a Canvas application. Initially, we will first build a low-code application, that is a no-code. That is, we're going to build an application without typing one single line of code. Then after which, we'll go inside and do some little modification depending on how we want. And for today's section, our case scenario is a registration application. So maybe an event, like for example, your course registration. You can just come up and build something like that. I worked around something around that. I may do a use case later on and show you a demo of what I built later on if we still have chance at the end of today's section. So this is just a Canvas app. This is how it looks like. And you can build from all of this. And I'm sure Kola would have spoken about this yesterday. So we're going on to build our registration app. And like I said, it's a simple registration app. And what the app does is, like, we want to register for a course, like a registration course form. So that app would allow you to just come in and register for particular courses that you want to register for. So we are going to have an app that allows you to do that. But before you build any app, it has to come from a data source. And like I said, we are going to build an app directly from your data source and without writing any lines of code. And that's what we're going to do. And like I said, we are going to be making use of SharePoint for that data source. And SharePoint list is what I'm going to use. And I'm sure we've used SharePoint list in some of our previous sections, which is what I'll be using for this section. So I'll first go back to my office.com, which I've opened before. Then I'll navigate to SharePoint. You also have access to SharePoint. So I'll click on SharePoint. So it takes me to SharePoint. So this is my SharePoint home page. And by default, if you're opening it for the first time, you would have a communication site. So you can leverage that. And if you don't want to do that, you can go on and build a site for yourself. Like I built all of these three as in here. And to build a site, you can just come here. So, but we will not be covering that. I'm sure we did introduction to SharePoint and database. You can always go back to watch that section as well. So I'll be using this. Sorry, I'm using Sidos. So I'll be using this. This is on the SharePoint list I built for myself. And to build a SharePoint list, all you need to do is just click on this, new, and click on lists. That's all you need to do. Yeah. So it pops up, it brings up this dialog. This pop up this dialog. Then you can build. One good thing about SharePoint, you can always build from a template. So, but for this our case scenario, we want to build a course registration. A course registration app. So we don't have a template for that here. So we'll be building one from blank. So we'll go on and build one from blank. So we have to give it a name. So for this, like I said, is our course. Sorry, I think I missed that. So yeah, this is our course registration list. Okay, so I just like clicking this one out. And you can always give a description. For people that like, if you want to give more details into what the data source is for, you can always give that. I just want to give a simple, just a description, so it does not matter whether I put anything there or not. Or I will just copy this and rather put there. So it's not necessary. You can fill it, you might not fill it. Either way, you can still create. So you go on to click on create. And with that, we have our lists. That's how simple it is to create a SharePoint list. And now for our course registration, we need to create some columns to capture our course registration. You can come on and build from here. If you've watched our previous section, you'll see a lot of our teachers in our previous section pick from here. But I would like to show you how to create from another place, which is our list settings. So to create from there, so it brings you here. So like if you watch our previous section, and if you're in last class, you know that I can always create from here. In short, let me just create one from here. I'll create a single line from here, and I'll call this your full name. So we want to capture the full name. And why I pick single line text is because it's a full name. For single line text, you can capture up to 256 characters. So that's what you can capture with your full line text. And I would want to capture my name, and I don't believe any name is more than 256 characters. So I'll capture that's full name, and I'll save. And yeah, in a few seconds, you see that this has populated here. So one other thing I would love to do is I want to remove this title. I don't want to use it. So I'll go to my list settings, click on this, and go to your list settings. And if you have any question, you can always drop it on the chat. I will go to our class. So from your list settings, you can also create columns, which is what I'm going to do. Before I create a column, I want to make that unrequired. So at the moment, you can see at the moment you can see that this is required, and I don't want that to be required because I don't want to use that field. So that field comes by default to SharePoint. So I don't want to use that field. So I will just remove it. I'll just click on require that this field contains information. No, I don't. And I'll click on OK. So that way, that field is not required. You can't delete the field because it comes by default. So I'll go on to create some other fields like gender. So I want to create a field for gender, and gender, I want to make it a drop down, like a list, a choice column. Why is the choice column? Because gender can either be a male, a female, or whichever, as much choices as you want to give it. But I just want a choice column for this, that is a male and female. Yeah, so once you click on choice column, you see that it's very easy to work with your SharePoint list. You will come and define these choices here. So this is choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. So this you are not restricted to just 3, and it's not that it must be 3. You can make it more and you can make it lesser. For this, I'll just put male and female. Male, I'll go to the next line, I'll put female, and you will see that will still work. And if you want to make it 10, you can always just enter to the next one like that. So, and I want it to be a drop down, and yes, no. So I'll click on OK. So you see that has been generated, your gender. So this is another way to create a column. Sorry, this is another way to create a column. So we can always go back and click another one. So I want to create another one. Okay, I want to capture the email address. The email. So let me just leave it as email. So for email, we can use whatever we want to use. So since we are using an Office 365, for email address, you can use a people or choice column. If I use a people or choice column, it's going to pick. That is, that person must be in that your environment. If you want to use a people or choice column, so that means that person must be in your environment. If you want to use that people or group column, because it's a person column, it's looking for people in your environment in this organization. So you can use that for email. But for my own case scenario, I can just use a simple line of text because I'll be using email of people that are not in my environment. So I'll use a single line of text for that one, and I'll click on OK. So if you have any idea, if you have any columns that you feel that we should put that is not here, please, you can always put it in the chat and I'll pick that up from the chat. So columns that you feel should be in your course registration, that is always in your course registration. So you can always bring and put it in the chat. I'm looking into the chat now. So and let me put it in. So so I'll go on and capture the courses. Okay. So I'll capture course. So because I want to capture 3 courses, so I'll just put 3 courses that I'll capture there. So I'll put course 1, course 2, and then course 3. So this will be course 1. So I'm assuming they're taking only 3 courses. So this will be the first course. And I'll make it a single line of text because it's going to be a character. Okay, I think someone dropped the chat. Okay, thank you very much, Level. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I think someone said I'm a bit fast, so sorry about that. Okay, so secondly, like I said, I want to capture the courses. So this is simple course registration form. So we're going to build a form where someone can just, an application that contains a form where someone can just go into the application and register for a course. So that's basically what I'm going to do in this section. And that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. So I'm building a list that would capture all of this information. Like I said, everything starts from a data. All the app you use, all the application you use, they all sit on the data source. That is, all the information I feed into an application is going to sit on the data source. So what you are doing now is you are building that data source where our information will be sitting on. So, and from this data source, one good thing about Power Apps is that from a data source, you can easily build the application. without writing any line of code, which is what we are going to do in our section. So that's what I'm trying to do. So always pull me back if you feel I'm so fast, or ask questions where you think I should you need more clarification. And I'm reading the chat, so just make sure you put that there. Okay, so I'll just go forward. So I've created, so at the moment, what I've done, I've created first name. So I've captured the first name, the gender, the email, and the first course. So I'm going to put for second course and third course. Let's assume the person taking only 3 courses. So I'll go on, I'll capture the second course. A single line of text also. So all of this other information are already pre-filled for you. You can adjust them if you want. But I don't want to adjust them because I feel they're okay. Require that this information contains, these columns contain information. You can do that from the front end. You can put yes, but for my case, I'll leave it no. And first, that is a unique value. What it means is that that column should only have that particular item. No other column can have that, sorry, no other row. That is, if I fill this form and somebody else fill this form, some of us cannot have the same information. So, but for this column, some of us, 2 people can have the same course, because so this one will be a no. And like I said, the maximum number is 250. Oh, so it's 255. Yeah. So maximum number for a single line text is 255. So SharePoint is just letting you know all of this information. And like I said, all of these are okay by me. So I'll just go on and click on OK. So I'll do the same thing for the third course. So I'll go on and create for the third course. So it's the same thing. So I'll just be a little bit faster here, because it's just like your first and second course. Okay, there's someone mentioned level, so thank you very much. So I'll go on and also create level. So if you see, I'm just clicking on. So there are different ways to create columns. I'm just showing you this is another way. This is actually a very slower way. This is here. The slower way. I just like coming here so that I can see all of the settings before I create. So these are there are different ways. So I've shown you the first way, which is what I did initially for the full name. This is another way of creating columns. So for this one, I want to put level, and we know that in most Nigerian universities and most courses, there are 5 levels, 100 to 500 level, which means I want my user to pick from a choice, from a drop down. That is, users should see 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, 500 level. Then users can pick whichever one they want. So because of that, is the choice column. So that's the choice column. So if you need more knowledge on all of what this type of columns mean, one of our first classes was Introduction to SharePoint and Database. So you can always go back and refer to that. Definitely drop that video. You can check it on our WhatsApp group, on the Twitter page, on Twitter also. So if you need more clarification on what all of these all of these column type mean, so I won't be going into that so that we can focus more on what we are here for. So now I've defined that this is level, and like I said, for choice column, all I need to do is just come and input what I want to, the level I want here. So I want this to be 100, sorry, 100, and you can put 100 level. But since it's level, let me just put 100, 200, 300, so that we don't waste time. 200, 300, 400, and 500. And I want this to be a drop down, yes. Okay. Okay, so this is saying that should you have a default value? And no, I don't want to have a default value, so I'll remove that and I'll click on OK. Okay, so I believe this is all right. Let me know if there's any other information I should be capturing here. So I've captured the first course, second course. So this is just a demo. You can always go back and input everything you want. So this is just a simple form. So now I want to navigate back to my course registration. And to navigate back, I'll just go to the top of my screen and click on this course registration list. And you see what happens. It takes me back to my front, to my list, and I can see all of my fields. This is what I've created: full name, gender, email, first name, first course, second course, third course, and level. And I don't want to see this, so I can easily hide it. How do you hide? Click on this drop down, click on column settings. Click on this drop down, you click on column settings, you go to show and hide. Then all of the highlighted ones are the ones showing, but I don't want this title to show. So I'll click on it and I'll click on apply. And you can see it's no longer showing here. And if you want to know that one to show, that same way, you can go back there, click on anyone. It doesn't have to be anyone, just click on anyone, go to the column settings, go to show and hide column. And if you want anyone to show, some people like who created that item to show, who all of this to show. So let me just say I want to know who created the item, and I want to know when he created the item. I can click on that and I click on apply, and you see what happens. It shows. So you can always hide and show columns. So all of this other information that's in there are called metadata. And like I said, if you need more information on that, always you can go back and check that up on our previous classes. Okay, so now we are done with our list. What's the next thing? We want to build our application. And like I said, you can build the application straight from inside your SharePoint list without doing any coding. And that's what we're going to do. So how do you build an application? Just come here, come to integrate, click on this drop down. You see Power Apps. And on your app, you see what you call create an app. Integrate, Power Apps, create an app. And when you click on create an app, it pops up this window and asks you to give your app a name. So I'll give my app a name, and I want your app name to be course registration app. Let me just put it full name, application. Then what I would create. So that's popping up for me. So if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat. If you need clarification or anything, please you can always pull me back by sending a chat. Okay, so we have our Power Apps coming up. And just a minute. And this is going to Power Apps will automatically create 3 screens for you. And what will those 3 screens be? A screen where you see all the informations, a screen where you can input, that is, you can fill in the information, and a screen where you can read from, where you can see all your information. That like when I mean read is you can write into it, just like a view screen, right? So you see a screen you can edit, a screen you can view, and your screen that contains all the information you put there. So let's just give this a minute. So it's loading. So it's coming up, it's loading this for us. So like I said, any question you can always ask in the chat. Any clarification, if you want me to go back on anything, you can always ask me in the chat. So my internet is a bit draggy today. That's why it's taking a bit of time. It doesn't take this much time. Okay, so yeah, our app it has been built for us, and now it's saving up. Okay, so it should be up in a minute, and thank you very much. You can see our app. This is our app, and all of this is here. So let's just go on and test the app straight up. And before we test the app, there's one thing I like doing. I don't like this blue and white that Microsoft do give me. I like changing the themes to something more dark, or not dark. Let me use this theme. I think I like this one. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, I think this one is a bit okay. Sorry, don't mind. I'm always going back with my colors, but I like doing my own app, building my own app my own way, and like changing my own colors. Okay, so let's just go in and test this app. You can see this is our, like I said, the app comes with 3 screens. Like I said, this is your home screen, your detail screen, and your edit screen. So let's just go in and fill in informations. And how do we fill in informations? I will just come here and click on this. You can see create new item. I'll come there and I'll create new item. Okay, so you can see that our title is still coming up. So I will tell you how you can go back and delete all of this and edit your app. So that's one thing I did in this class. So I'll just come here and put my name, Oluwatobi Yusuf. You can see our drop down automatically. My mail, like I said, is not in my environment. So I'll be putting at gmail.com. Then let's assume my course. Let me just see my course. I did electrical electronics, so my course were E101, E103, and EEE 105. Then my level is 100 level. So now I'm done with that. I can always go back and click on this. And see what happens automatically. This shows here. That is, so now this will better help us understand our app better. So you can see that in our browse screen, let me increase this. You can see in our browse screen, it shows, okay, let me just go in and bring in another information so that you see what our browse screen really do. Okay, so let me put my colleague, not my colleague, my friend, Omulola Alfred. Okay, female. Let me just put a default, it just any random email, and let me assume she's in engineering. Let's just give her some engineering. Let me give her 200 level, at least better manage that one. So this is what to call civil engineering in my school then. So that's what I'm choosing. Then VE 205. Then let me give her 200 level, and I would submit that. Okay. So now you can see some things from our application. Now let me go back to our edit mode, and so I hope you can see. Please let me know. Please let me know if you are seeing the screen clearly. If it's not so, I hope you are seeing the screen clearly. Okay. Okay. So now from the app, you can see we have 3 screens: our browse screen, our detail screen, and our edit screen. Like I said, our browse screen shows us all the information that is in our data source. And now one good thing is that if I go to my data source, the informations I feel, I just need to refresh this automatically. It's showing on my data source. See how wonderful powers have made the work easy for us. So now from here, you can see that we have 3 screens. Our browse screen shows us all the information on our database. Our detail screen, for example, now if I click on my play and I click on this, it takes me to my detail screen. This is my detail screen here. So it shows me the information on that particular details. Then if I go to edit screen, this is where you edit all of the information. You can make changes, anything you want to do, you can make changes, you can also submit. So you can see this is the 3 screens that Power built for us by default. And one good thing is that you can always go back and edit. So you can see how we built an application, a full working application, without writing one single line of code. We didn't write any code. We just did our database, we changed color, and our app is good to go. And you can always go and save your app. So to save your app, you can see, just click on File and click on Save. You save your app and you can publish. So what it means to publish is, if I've built an app before and I've released the app, the app has a particular version. So if I can, as a developer, I can always go back and make changes on that application. For example, your normal, your Facebook, your WhatsApp. Sometimes you notice that if you go to Play Store, you'll be seeing, or iOS, that's Apple Store for those that are using iPhone. You notice that if you go to any of those your Play Store, you'll be seeing updates an app or upgrade and more like updates. I think update, yes. You see update feature. That's because there's always update on different kind of applications. That's the truth. Any application you're going to build, they will need to bring in new updates depending on what customer wants, what people want. So when you've worked on an app before, you've published a particular version. People can be using that version. So now when you've done another app, you save it. If you don't publish, people don't see that change you've made. But when you click on publish, then that change now appears. So that's when they publish a new app. That's when you go to your Play Store, you go to your Apple Store, and you start seeing things like, update your app, update your OP, update your Facebook, because they've done an upgrade and they publish the update. But when they're working on it, when they've not published it, you won't see any updates. So that's basically what is happening here. So now, like I said, we're going to do some editing on this because we want to remove some things. For example, our title. We don't want our title to be here. And how do you do that? So on our browse screen, I think we are good here. Maybe you want to bring in another thing. You want to bring in this is our first screen. So let's work from here. So one good thing they recommend is you can always go on and change all of this screen name. So if you want to change this, let's assume I don't want that one in front of it and I want to space it. You can double click on it. That's one way. And I'll delete the one and I'll space this. And you can see that has changed. So we see that has changed. Sorry, let me just increase this a bit. Another way, which is what I'll do for my second screen, if you don't do that first one, you can click on the screen, come to the other side and see this. You can edit it from here and click out. And either way, you see that has changed. And for the third one, you can use any of the two methods I've spoken about initially. So let me just turn this to. So that's a way to rename. So it's advisable to always rename your screen so that anybody, for example, I will start working on the screen and Molala comes on to take on the screen, she would understand what that screen is all about. So now for my front screen, let's just do some little changes to it. So like I said, it's a no-code, low-code app, right? Now we've done a no-code app. We've used an app without writing one single line of code. Now we just want to edit some things because it's a low-code. So let's make use of that low-code. So now if you notice that we have the name of the person, we have the gender, and we also have level. Let us want to show those three details on the front screen. So I'll just come here, I'll click. Okay, I think my mouse, okay. Let me just reduce this and yeah. So I want to make the level show. So is in 100 level, Omolola is in 200 level, and I want that level to show for whichever person has filled information. So to do that, I'll click on this. I'll click on this. Oh, so you can just click on the gallery. It selects your gallery, right? Once you click on the gallery, this is a gallery function. So just click on this, then come to this pencil icon. I don't know if you are seeing the pencil icon. So come to this pencil icon and click on that pencil icon. So now that means I can edit this particular item. And one good thing about gallery in Power Apps is once you edit the top, the first one, it happens to the second one, which is what I'm going to see. So I'm going to make some changes to this. Which changes? For this mail, I'll just click on this mail. I can reduce the height. So you can reduce the height this way. So let me just reduce this height to this. Then I would copy it and I would paste it. So just copy and paste. And I'll put this one down. Like I said, it's a low code, right? And I'll show you it's low code. Now, what's the thing doing here? You can see this item.gender.value. I'll explain what this is. If I come to the first one, the name, you can see what this item.fullname, that is my name in my data source, which is the name I gave myself here. The second one is this item.gender. What's that doing? It's going to this particular record and it's picking the gender. Why is the value? There's value because it's a choice column. If you notice, it's a drop down. So it can either be a male or a female. So because they will pick either of the two, and because it's a choice column and they're going to pick one of the choices, that's why it's picking the value. So that's why you're having the gender.value, because it's going into that gender and picking a particular value. Then for this last one, we want to make this the level. And if you notice, level 2 is a choice column. So what are we going to do? Let's just delete this. Sorry, I've done. Okay, so I mistakenly deleted this stuff. Okay. So sorry, I mistakenly deleted stuff. So you can always, and one good thing now, which is what I did now, I mistakenly deleted. You can always undo. To undo, just click on this, undo. It undo what you've done, and you can Ctrl Z also works. So Power Apps also takes note of that. So like I copied this, and sorry, I copied this and I pasted. Okay, I think I've done that twice. Let me pull it down again. Okay, so now what I wanted to do was to edit this, and I want to delete. You've noticed this item was general, right? So I can pick. So I want that this item. Now what I want to pick, I want to pick the level. I'll type level. And if you notice something, as I'm typing level, it comes out. That's something about Power Apps. That's why it's also a low code. It has this intelligence, so it allows you to, it predicts what I'm going to type. So I'll pick level, but it's still showing error. Why? Because it's a choice column. I want to pick the level, the value, the particular thing the person pick. So to do that, just like your gender, just put dots, and you can see it brought out value. Just click on value, and you see what happens. The level comes out, and if you notice, it happens for the top one, it also happens for the second one. And if you go to the next level, if you bring in another record, you will see that change also happens to that third level. So just want to take this up a bit. Okay, let me take it down a bit. Okay, so just one more thing I would like to put on this my screen is maybe I want them to see, okay, what's Tobi Yusuf is a name, and I want them to see what that name is. I can just come to the front of this, and just like your normal, if you work with Excel, you notice I talked about Excel. It's a very simple formula you can always use. Just like the same way we work with Excel. So you work with Excel, you can, sorry, work with Excel, you can always play around all of these formulas. It's something you can always check out and work around. It's very easy to work around. So that's why I want to make this. I want to make this more descriptive. I can just come in and put name in a column. So I just put a quote mark and put name and put a column and put a quote. So what's that quote doing? The quote is just showing that this is not a programming language, this is just a string, this is just a normal wording. That's what the column is doing. But if you notice, that string and this item.fullname are different data type, right? And I want to join them together. So I'll just put this, I do forget this name, this IntelliSense, I think that's what they call it. Just put IntelliSense and I'm good to go. That's all I need to do. And that's good for me. I'll just come and do that same thing here. So you can see that appears, and like I said, anything that you do for the first happens to the second and every other thing. So I'll click on the next one. I'll do that same thing there. So I want this to show that it's gender. So I forgot my quotes. So like I said, that quote is just to show that this particular thing I'm writing is not a programming language, just a string, just a value. Just take it like that. Then because it's a different data type, I want to join it together. I'll put this. I think I call it IntelliSense. I'm not really sure. Well, I think I'm missing it up. Okay, so for the last one is the level. So I'll do the same thing. Level, and I'll put a column and I'll put that. And you can see I'm good to go. So this is what I want. I'm good. So I'm done with my first screen. So you can see how we've manipulated our first screen and we've done some changes without wondering much, without writing any which kind of language should I start writing. Then I'll go to my second screen. Okay, my second screen, I want to remove my title. I don't want my title. So how do you remove title? Two ways. You can click on this. You can click here and just click on delete. Right? And one other thing I want to do is maybe I want my level to come before my courses because it's not making sense. I'm writing my courses, I'm not coming back to my level. Let me pick my level, then I'll pick my courses. How do you move? So you can just click here. You can click on it and drag it to the position you want. And you can see that works. And I'll show you another way of deleting. So now let's assume we are done with this. That's all the changes I want here. I want to do that same change on my last screen. So on my last screen, I want to do that same change. So another way of deleting is when you click on this form, I've clicked on the form, you will come to this edit field, right? Can you see edit field? When you click on the edit field, you can come here and remove. And you can see that has gone. And I want to move my level to the top of my first course. The same way, you can just drag this to the top of the first course. And you can see that, okay, has it moved? Oh, sorry, I didn't, okay, it has not. And you can just close this and you can see that it does that same thing that I did on the previous screen. So those are two ways. And now I'll say I'm good. I'm good at this moment. I would want to save my app. I've saved my app, but I don't publish. And like I said, when you save your app and don't publish, what happens? Let me go to my normal Power Apps. And then I believe I'm in this environment. So I'm going back to my Power Apps. I want to show you the difference. So let me just refresh this screen. Please, if you have any question, always drop it in the chat, or at the end of this class, we would have some minutes to ask questions. Okay. So my app is course registration app. So I want to go to my course registration app. Should be here. So I've done a lot of play around with different apps. Okay. So yeah, it's still trying to. You can see that my stuff is still trying to boot. It's not booted yet. Okay. So we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. So it will show up here when you go to your make.apps.com and go to app, it will show up here. So I think it's just taking some while. I guess maybe because I've not closed it yet. So now I've saved my changes, right? I've saved, but I didn't publish. So you will see that this feature, that title will be shown on our previous version of our app. So now I want to just test my app again and be sure I didn't break anything. I'll play and I'll test my app. I can always go back, I'll edit. Okay, and this is okay. So let me just change. Let me remove the Yusuf and put Oluwatobi and click on this. You see that's happened here, and I'll go back to my home screen. And let me just create some new records. So let me create some new records. You can see that my title is no longer showing, right? Okay, let me put Jaflet's name here. Sorry, forgive me if I didn't get your surname correctly. Mail. Okay, demo@gmail.com. So let me put Jaflet in training level and give him some courses. MEE 301, MEE 303, MEE 307. Then I'll just click on this to submit. And you can see that appears here. And also if I go to my data source and refresh, so it just doesn't refresh yet. So you can see that that also appears here. And yes, I'm good to go. So yes, that's our app. And just okay, one more thing is you can also share your app. Also, okay, you can also share your app, but I have to publish the app to share it. So I wanted to show you that functionality. So let me see if this has come up here. Okay, I think I know why. So we would need to close this. So I've saved my changes. Right? So since I've saved my changes, I would close. Okay. I think I have a question. Okay. So please, if you have any question, need any clarification, always ask me. You can ask in the chat. Okay, so just a bit of, just take a time to, some little time to load. Okay, so let me just check my make.power.com. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so this is coming up. So I built that in an environment. So I have different environments. So always make sure you're in the right environment. Make sure you're in the right environment. So I'm in the right environment now. Maybe I was not in the right environment previously. I will check that. Then I will check for my app. Okay, so did I build it in different environments? Okay, so let me just check. Sorry. So that's the issue. The app was actually there from the start. I was checking a different environment. So please always make sure you're in your right environment. So I'm in a different environment. So this is the app I built here. And if I click on this app, so when you go to your make.powerapp.com and click on apps, you see all the apps you've built. So I've built different apps in different environments. So once I click on this app, so I'm playing this app, right? You can see the app here. I'm playing it. So while I'm playing it, I'll also edit it. So edit is where you're going to developer mode and you're playing it. So I've showed you also how to navigate to your app. Just go to make.power.com and go to app. So this is what your users will be seeing. And you can notice all those changes I've made are not appearing. Why? Because I did not publish my app. So always take note of that. If you don't publish your app, all those changes would not take place. So now I would, and if you notice, if I go here, I'll still be seeing title. If I go here, yeah, because I've not published my app, but I've saved it. I've saved it, but I've not published. Now, if I go to my developer mode, which is where I navigated to, you can see that the changes have been made here. So what will I do now? I'll go to my file. I'll publish. And once I publish, my users should be able to see this version. Now, as my users, they just need to refresh. So once my users refresh, okay, I just need to refresh this. Does not seem the, okay, I guess I'll just need to open it again. So then navigate to the right environment. Sorry. So please always take note of that. Make sure you're in your right environment. Okay, so let me open my app. Okay, sorry. Okay, I guess I would have to close this. I published it. It just takes some time. I guess my internet is taking some miles. Okay, thank you. So yeah, it just takes some while to sink in. It just takes some while to sink in. So now my users have seen the new updated version, and now you can see that my users, this is what my users see. They don't see all those developer mode version. So my users can see all of this and can also go in and fill in whichever thing they want to fill in. So let me just make this demo and make this female demo@yahoo.com. Okay, sorry. This person is a string. Okay, I'll make this person 400 level and I'll give this person MST 415, MST 411, and MST 417, and I'll submit. So this is from my user perspective. This is from, then I'll go to my SharePoint list. I would also refresh. Okay, I didn't want to refresh. It has actually populated already. You can see that information comes in. So this is what my users see. This is what I see. And if you want to share your app, like I said, you can share it like documents. Just click on File. If you want to share your app, go to File, go to Share. So that's where it takes you to where you can share your app. So you can share to anybody in your environment. So anybody in this environment can share. So I have some people in my environment. I think I created my sister in my environment. So yeah, that's my sister. Then I think I have Omolola in my environment as well. Okay. And I can share my app. And maybe I want my sister to be a co-owner. I can make her co-owner, meaning she can edit the app, but Molala can only use the app. She can edit the app, and I will share. And once I share, those permission level will be given to them automatically. You can see updating permission level. Now my sister is a co-owner of the app. She can edit the app, and Molala can use the app also. So thank you very much. I think I'll be stopping here for today. I believe you're able to pick one or two, and you can also ask a question. Back to you, Molala Alfred.
All right, thank you so much, Toby. Thank you for that detailed explanation. I was able to take quite a number of things. All right, please, do we have anybody with questions? If you have questions, you can just raise your hand. All right. I currently cannot see anybody with question. Let me just scroll down. Okay. Okay. In the absence of questions, can we just give Toby, if you're still with us, can we just give Toby a round of applause? Can we use our icon to just clap for Toby? Let's use the icon. If you're still with us, just use the icon to clap for Toby. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Same link, same time, 4 to 5, same place. And thank you for joining 30 Days of Learning. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.